When Joanne was doing my body in the early 1990s, she insisted on a few things. The first one was that if you recommended somebody, you had a call to book the appointment for them. You could only get either $150 worth or $300 worth. She didn't negotiate. And you had to wait 3 months in between appointments. She said it was so that it wouldn't get lumpy or hard. Now we know that couldn't be the reason. I think it was just that she went back to Costa Rica for 3 months in between every 3-month visit to New York, probably to stock up and to get some work done on herself. The almost immediate gratification you'd get from it probably made it a little bit addictive. She'd open the door and you would take off your bottoms and you would step into these cut-off pantyhose and you would just keep them around your ankles. And then she would draw on you with a magic marker and you would climb on this table in the middle of her living room. She'd pick the show that she wanted to watch on the TV, which was at the head of the table, and then she would start the process. The numbing stuff that she injected you with first really burned. The sound of her filling the tool she used with silicone was unforgettable. It was kind of gurgling and blub 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 sounding. Then she'd ask, "Ready?" Away we go. You could feel the sharp point of her needle puncturing your skin, and then you'd feel this slow force of her pushing in this thick liquid that just went in very, very slowly. The entire time she was pumping this liquid into you, she would be wiping away any blood that oozed out or anything else that slipped out of the puncture holes. After some minimal molding, she would go ahead and wipe you down with a washcloth, and then she would take crazy glue and seal the puncture wounds. When the glue dried and your puncture hole was sealed, she would spray some liquid glue on your butt and then attach these huge cotton pads all over it. And after she finished the other side, she would carefully slide off the table and she would carefully pull up those pantyhose above the cotton. After at least 12 hours with the cotton on and the pantyhose on, you could take a shower and you would use a loofah to scrape off all of that cotton and that glue and stuff. Then you'd use a big wooden rolling pin and roll it all over the treated area twice a day for 14 days, and then you could just do it once in a while, but she wanted you to do it for the rest of your life. You had to wear the pantyhose for at least 48 hours after getting it done. And I always get mine done on Friday so I could show it off on Saturday night in the club. Joanne and I, over the years, developed a relationship. After my treatment, she said to me that she wouldn't be coming back to New York for at least 6 months, and I freaked out. So I said to her, "Please do me one more time before you leave, please." And I think because she was fond of me, she said, "Okay, I'll do it." When I returned in 3 weeks, everything was the same, except for this time, it was so much more painful. Really, really painful, incredibly painful. I understood that it was the nature of silicone to hurt every time a little bit more because silicone on top of silicone hurt, but this was very different. She explained that that was an indication that I was full. The next morning I jumped in the shower, loofed all the cotton off, and endured the agony of the rolling pin. I wore a powder pink, skin-tight satin skirt that had a peplum at the bottom. My outfit was getting tons of compliments that day, and I loved it. Several hours later, I was getting a compliment on my skirt, and the person said to me, "You look great." And I was just about to say thank you when she said to me, "But what did you sit in, huh?" It wasn't until I looked at my butt in the mirror that I thought to myself, "Oh my God, the silicone is leaking out." It felt thin and oily, so I started to panic, and I called Joanne. Joanne told me not to worry, and she assured me that only what was more than my body could contain would leak out, and that I should come over in the morning and she would have a look. When I got there the next morning, I said to her, "Please tell me that the only thing that got ruined was my skirt and not my butt and my skirt." I feel very lucky that nothing went really wrong that day, but I've also been very lucky with my silicone. It never got lumpy or hard like it has on so many others. Because of the lack of support from the medical community, my generation did so many crazy things to our bodies.